Ho, ho, ho. Happy holidays, everybody. It's that time of year, the dreaded time of year where we're lucky if we manage to survive all the parties and the celebrations without completely trashing our lifestyles, going back to square one, and making that inevitable New Year's resolution that we're going to start dieting again after the first of the year. We've all been there. Admit it to yourself. It is dangerous waters. It's a gauntlet that we have to run for the next 6 weeks to get through Thanksgiving, Christmas, all the holiday parties, all the parties at the offices, all our relatives inviting us over for dinner, all of that celebratory food put in our face that we're supposed to feel guilty about not eating if we turn it down. There's many ways to handle this, and I'm going to talk about some of them. But I'm going to save the most important way for last. Stay tuned to the end of this video to hear my most important tip on how to not screw the pooch this holiday season. Come out the other side, still a carnivore, proud of yourself. So let's get started. And it happens to us every year. And it's starting with Thanksgiving and all of the holiday parties nonstop with the neighbors in the community, at the church where we work, with our relatives, one after another. And I don't need to tell you what kind of food is going to be spread out, offered to you. And there you are. There you are. Each of our situations is different. I don't know if I'm lucky by chance or by choice, but the lifestyle I've chosen is primarily solitary, and about the only challenge that I might face is Thanksgiving dinner with my kids. My kids know me very well. I won't have stuff offered to me. And it's offered to you not as a challenge to test your resolve, but out of kindness and love. Because we sometimes forget that people don't know the truths about the bad effects that many of these foods, or most of these foods, have on us. The biggest mistake we can try to make as they're offering us chocolate cake, guilting us into thinking we'll insult the host of the party if we don't take it. They'll say things like, well, surely one little bite can't hurt you. And you can't come back and tell them you're a carbohydrate addict. They don't even know what that means. So what do you do? What do you do? Well, there's a number of lines of defense that you can do, and it depends how severe your addiction is and how easily tempted you are, and how long you are into this lifestyle, and whether you have fully converted your physiology to fat burning, which makes it much easier to turn this stuff down, or you're at that point where you could go either way, and that's a dangerous, dangerous point. For me, the answer is simple, but not acceptable to all of us that have a life, have family, have friends, still work, go to church, everywhere where the holiday parties are definitely going to happen. And the spread of stuff we don't want to eat is going to be enormous, and it's going to be not only the food in our face, but everybody else consuming the food in our face and offering it to us, forcing us to, in one way or another, almost insult them by turning it down. Now, I've often said that if we were talking about alcohol here, it's easy. Anybody offers you alcohol, you just say the magic words. Thanks so much, but no, I'm a recovering alcoholic. They will immediately back off. Works like a charm. Can't do that with food. You can't tell somebody, no thank you, I'm a recovering carboholic. They'll look at you like you have 3 eyes. So that doesn't work. There's many excuses that you can make that do work. You'd hope that a simple no thank you would help. But that doesn't help with so many people because they care about you. They're enjoying all this food. They want you to participate and enjoy it too. The thing that works best for me is just don't go. Don't go to the parties. And if you're not crazy about these parties anyway, that might not be a bad thing for you to consider. Part of being a carnivore is changing your social life to avoid those situations where you're surrounded by the stuff that you no longer eat. So if you can, the best and safest choice is to stay home. A lot of us can't do that. A lot of us can't do that, especially when it comes to work. You're expected to be at the Christmas party at the office. Your job might depend on it. So what do you do? What do you do when that food gets held up right in front of your face and somebody says, you gotta try this, man. You're gonna love it. Think about this in advance. The excuses that might work vary greatly and depend a lot on the situation. And they can range from something very benign to something that basically says, I'd love to, but if I ate that, I would die right here on the spot because I have a severe allergy to what's in that food. Sorry, I would love to, but I just can't. And that works great. That works great. That's a good excuse. And if you need to be allergic to something, tell them you're allergic to all seed oils. Now, they don't know what seed oils are, but if it requires even further explanation and somebody says, well, what are those? What are seed? I never heard of that. I never heard of anybody that's been allergic to seed oils. What is that? You can say seed oils are industrially manufactured cooking fats like canola, corn oil, things like that. And most people aren't allergic to them, but they use certain solvents in the process of making these. And it turns out I'm one of those people. And it took a while to diagnose this, that has severe reactions to even trace amounts of those chemicals. And I was told that I have to avoid those things at all costs, much like somebody with a peanut allergy can't even go near peanuts lest they have a reaction and go into anaphylactic shock. So thank you very much, but I'm going to have to decline. And if they keep pushing and keep pushing and keep pushing and keep quizzing, trying to drill you down to see if you're lying or not, there comes a time in any situation like that where you've got to say, listen, I don't think I'm feeling very well. I think just even being around this stuff that makes me so sick, I hate to do it, but I'm going to have to leave early and just get the hell out of there because you don't owe those people anything. You are working hard. You're working hard to cure your health, to lose your weight, to change your life. Nobody has the right to take that away from you, even if that is done in what they think is kindness. So the food allergy is always a good excuse. You really want to shock them, you could say, oh, God, I wish I could. And that's always a good way to start, because if you say you wish you could, then they get the idea that you're not happy about the fact that you have to turn this food down. Say something like, I had a lot of food allergies and I had all those skin scratch tests. Turns out I'm allergic to most plant material. I've had to stop eating vegetables and plants. Imagine that. So I'm sorry, I can't eat it. Why don't I go over there? Because I can eat seafood and shrimp and meat. Let me just fill up on that stuff. And then go to town. Because usually at these parties, if nothing else, they'll have cold cuts. They'll have some cheeses, maybe some shrimp or something like that. And eat that. Thank your host or whoever's pushing this food on you. Thank them a lot. And hopefully that'll do it. Of course, you always start with a no thank you, I don't care to. But if they keep pushing, you have to go deeper and deeper into your trick bag. These are things you're going to have to think up for yourself. But they go along the lines of, I found out I have an allergy to. No thank you, I've never liked that. Just kind of hard to say about chocolate cake, but got to use your imagination and think on your feet. But you may find yourself, instead of negotiating with the person trying to lovingly get you to go off your hard-fought dietary pattern, you may find that you're fighting harder with your own addiction. And that's not a good situation. And that will just reinforce the fact that if you really don't want to eat that, if you're really committed to living this new lifestyle, as important as the changes you make to your diet, sometimes even more important, are the changes you make to your basic life in general. It's not called a carnivore diet, it's called a carnivore lifestyle, and lifestyle includes so many other factors. So many other factors. If you're just going over someplace for dinner, just fill your plate full of meat. Somebody says, don't you want the vegetables? You just say, no, thank you, I don't really like vegetables. Make a joke. You know, the beauty of a party where I get to choose what I eat is I don't have to eat the stuff my mother used to force me to eat. Whatever it takes, whatever you need to do, but under no circumstances. Let your addiction win. Leave if you have to. It's a challenging time. I'm making this video right now before the holidays. Right after the holidays, maybe during the first week of my morning live streams, we're going to be talking to people about the real experiences that they had over these holidays, whether they were strong or managed to succeed, how many people they might have offended who don't like them anymore, how many of their relatives don't want them to come over for dinner anymore. And you have to make a choice, whether you care more about that or you care more about your health and your goals for your future. It all boils down to that personal choice that only you can make for yourself. But keep this, if nothing else, keep this one trick in mind. I'm saving this to the end. Keep this one trick in mind that will make most of all of those other problems inconsequential and irrelevant. Before you go to the party, eat like there's no tomorrow. Eat meat until you can't eat another bite. Eat until the food almost disgusts you, so that when you walk into that party, the last thing you think about, the last thing you want to do is eat anything more. And my friends, I got to tell you from my own personal experience, nothing does the trick like that. Put your addictions to bed before you walk out the door. And that is my last and best advice. And if you have to carry some burger patties and bacon and hard-boiled eggs in a Ziploc bag in your pocket or your purse, do that too. If you start to get a craving while you're at the party, sneak off to the bathroom, stuff your face with that stuff. Those tricks that work to put your addictions to bed will work anywhere, even at a party. I hope that it gives you some, to use the expression, food for thought. But think about this before it happens. Think about ways and things you can say that people will accept and back off quickly. And think about, you may have to actually make an excuse and leave if you feel like you're in a situation where it's going to become uncontrollable for you. Or give in to your addictions, binge for the rest of this year, promising yourself, I'm going to start again after the first of the year, and I promise this time I'll keep that. And think back to all the years you made that very same promise and failed to keep it. Thanks for listening, my friends. Now, take the rest of the day off and eat meat.